Hello everyone, my name is Christy and this is Christy's Books. I'm just a girl who loves books and tea, so we're gonna be talking about books while I sip on my tea. In the year 2024, I read 106 books. This is not crazy for me because the year before I read 100 books exactly like on the nose. So this isn't anything that's super crazy for me, but I was really proud of myself. We are going to be talking about my top 10 books of 2024. I love these books so much. Obviously, hello, they're my top 10 books. I just feel like I want to go into the new year talking about my favorites from last year, so maybe you could get some book recommendations or some new ideas for your 2025 TBR. And let me know if you've read any of these books, or also let me know what books I should read in 2025. Comment down below, like, subscribe, all those YouTube things. Without further ado, let's get started on my top 10 books of 2024. Starting off nice and strong, coming in at number 10, we have Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. This book is about our main character. I forgot her name. What the heck is that girl's name? Eve is her name. Okay. This book is about Eve, and she has a one-night stand and finds out she is preggers. There is a child forming inside of her, because that's what preggers means, guys. Okay. She finds out that she is pregnant, and she decides to go through with having this baby, and it just kind of tells the story of her as she's navigating that in her life and navigating the relationship with the dad of the child, while also navigating friendships and a love interest. I don't want to spoil things. Is that a spoiler? I don't think that's a spoiler. It's not a spoiler. It's on the back of the book. It's on the back of the book, guys. Back of the book. There's best friend trope. Wait, best friend's brother? Best friend's brother is the one for me. This is her best friend's brother trope. The guy in this book, Shep. That man is golden retriever. I love him so much. Like, their relationship, so intuitive. He is so emotionally intelligent, and he is such a good book boyfriend. For me personally, when I see that a book has a pregnancy trope, I'm like, okay, because I don't relate to it. I've never been pregnant. I'm not necessarily trying to have a child right now. It's something where it's like I want a kid in the future, but it's not something I can actively relate to right now. The fact that I was crying reading this book, Cara Bastone, like, clearly you know what you're doing, babe. You ate with this book. But yeah, don't let the pregnancy trope with this book scare you, because I think this is one of the scenarios where the pregnancy trope works. She talks about pregnancy a lot, and she really talks about her whole journey with pregnancy, and it's a main topic of the book. It almost feels like literary fiction meets romance, because she is figuring out her life and her desires and what she wants to do with work and how she's going to take care of a kid. The romance is an addition to that. So if you are looking for like a fluffy romance and not kind of those kind of things, this might not be for you. But if you're looking for a book where there's character development, a girl navigating her life with relationships, with children, with other things, then this book is perfect for you. Coming in at number 9, we have Finding Me by Viola Davis. This is my favorite memoir I've read, period. And I have read so many memoirs this year. She is amazing and so inspiring. You guys wouldn't know this about me because this is my first video. I'm actually an actor myself. I'm not Viola Davis level, hello, clearly. Seeing how she got to where she is today from where she started is absolutely insane. Seeing her perseverance, seeing how she fought against all odds to get there, seeing what her family life looked like and how tragic she grew up and how terrible some of those things were. I mean, she went through it all. And I just have like the utmost respect for her and the utmost like love. She's an incredible woman. And if you at all are interested in acting, the world of Hollywood, even just Viola Davis as a person, like, this is such a good memoir. Coming in at number 8 is Picking Daisies on Sundays. I have some of my favorite quotes. How could you provide me air and suffocate me at the same time? She lives in between the pinks and yellows of the world, where a beautiful color is unknown to others. Like, are you actually kidding me right now? Like, baby, tattoo that on my body. This book is about Daniela, and she has always been in love with Levi. They are kind of like childhood friends to lovers to strangers / enemies to lovers. Second chance. It's wait, childhood friends to lovers, second chance. The tropes don't matter. Like, it's honestly kind of confusing, but she got married this year. Hey yo. I read this book the week that I got married because I knew that there was a wedding in here. She's essentially the fake date with him to his sister's wedding. Fake dating to his sister's wedding. And it's just, I love books where there's like a sort of falling out and then they come together. Second chance romance. I love that. Like, baby, work on yourself. Take your time. I'll still be here. Don't even worry. One thing I love about this book, I love Levi. Like, that man, you could just tell that he's never stopped loving her. And I think there's something so sweet about that, that like all these years pass by and you can date whomever, but the second that that person re-enters your life, that's your person. Oh my God, what? I'm not gonna cry. If you are a fan of Emily Henry, I 100% recommend this book. Just the writing, the quotes, the style of writing is very Emily Henry-esque. And if that is something that you're a fan of, definitely read Picking Daisies on Sunday. Like, it's so good, guys. I pinky swear. Coming in strong at number 7, we have Betty by Tiffany McDaniel. This is a literary fiction coming of age story. This book is about our main character, Betty, and it tells her life from a child as she's getting older. Her father is Cherokee, I believe. Yes, Cherokee, and her mother is white. She deals with a lot of racism. She deals with a lot of sexism, amongst other things. And it just kind of tells how she grows up, how she views herself, how she views the world. Check your trigger warnings with this book. This book is not an easy read necessarily. There is tough subject matter that you have to deal with in this book, so I recommend checking your trigger warnings. This book is heartbreaking, honestly. This book reminds me a lot of Where the Crawdads Sing. If that was a book that you really enjoyed, I would 100% recommend this book because it's the same style book. Like, the formula is the same, where it's a girl growing up throughout her years and being unwelcomed and having to face these hardships on her own 2 shoulders as a young kid. This is such a gorgeous book. The writing is absolutely gorgeous, and it's something that's extremely heartbreaking, but it's very uplifting. This book made me sob, okay? Like, and it was also embarrassing because I was on an acting contract at the time, and I was in actors housing, and I just remember, like, I was like laying down reading my book like this, and I started sobbing, and then I couldn't breathe because I was lying down, and then so I had to sit up, and I literally couldn't breathe. And I'm sure everybody in that house was like, is Christy like okay? Like, what is happening over there? I never hear about this book. I actually read this book because I had 2 friends recommend it to me, and they were like, Christy, you've got to read this book. And I was like, okay. And then I did, and I was like, wow, I should always listen to my friends. Rule number 1, listen to your friends. Everyone should read this book. It was just very beautiful, very breathtaking. It was a hard read, but it was a good read. Coming in at number 6, we have The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. It's so crazy that I'm putting this in this video because if you know me personally, you know that I was like, I don't want to read that book. It's very hyped, and I'm afraid of very hyped books because a lot of times when I read very hyped books, I get let down. I was very afraid going to this book. I was like, what if I absolutely like hate this? But good news, I did not hate this. I read it in one sitting at the pool, babes. Like, when I tell you, I was literally like, I started at the pool here and I said, done. I don't know who hasn't read this book, honestly. I feel like I'm in like the small minority that has not read this book, but if you're new to reading or if you have not read this book, please do so. This is about our main character, Olive, and she is a student. What is she? Yeah, she's like a PhD candidate. Oh, candidate. Is that student? This is the thing. Whenever I read books about like STEM, like romance STEM, I never know what's going on. Like, you can explain science to me all day long, but baby, like, all I know about science is H2O and NaCl, sodium chloride. The science part, I can't explain that, baby. Like, I only know about the love and the tension and the banter. It's about this girl named Olive, and she essentially, like, her friends are like, girl, you've got to get a boyfriend. I think her friends like got together, and so she's like kind of like the odd man out, and they're like, you have to find a man, girl. Like, it's embarrassing. Like, you need to find someone. And she's like, yeah, I have a boyfriend. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, to get them off her back. Because also, like, mind your P's and Q's. Like, why are you jumping on your friend for not having a boyfriend? Anyways, that's not the point. She's like, I do have a boyfriend. Grabs this man and plants one on him The man that she plants her mouth on is none other than Adam. He is mighty fine, I will say that. This man, he's intelligent. Okay, babes, like, he is smart. Let's be honest here. Like, boys, close your ears for like 1 sec. Let's be honest here. Boys don't always know, like, what's going on. That's a man I could get behind. He knows what's going on. Like, I would trust him with, like, the keys to my apartment. He cares so much about Olive, and it makes you care so much about him. Also, Adam needs to have kind of like a girlfriend or something to make him seem like he's locked down in order to keep his job type thing. So they fake date and then they real date. Like, we all know how that turns out. These two, the chemistry that they have, so good. This book is so good. I can't believe I waited this long to read it. Next up, we have The Unmaking of June Farrow coming in at number 5. This book is about June Farrow and her unmaking. That's it. That's all. Thanks. Kidding. I'm just teasing. I'm a joker. It's about June Farrow, and she has a family curse going on. Essentially, the women start to go crazy, and then they pass away. After her grandmother's death, she is like, I'm gonna figure out this curse. Like, I'm gonna get to the bottom of what's actually happening here. And there are some sort of clues left behind, and she is trying to unravel and figure out what's actually happening with her family. All I'll say is a door appears. Does she cross the door? Does she stay? That's something that you need to find out all on your own, and I'm not gonna spoil it for you. This book has such an interesting storyline. It's like a mystery that you're trying to solve. It's also just like a fiction about this girl and her family, but there's also some fantasy elements to it. Such a great story. I sobbed. Completely bawled my eyes out. It was actually really embarrassing because I had to leave for work in 10 minutes and I was finishing the book. I was like zooming through it and I drove to work with mascara streaks down my face. I don't regret it because that book was literally magical, breathtaking, so good. There's also a romance subplot in this book. You kind of tell I love romance. The romance subplot is one of those like, I will find you in every lifetime type. Oh my gosh. Those are my favorite types of subplots. Like, find me in every lifetime, or else I don't want it. Just read the book. Like, honestly, just read the book. You'll love it. Coming in at number 4, we have Just for the Summer by Miss Abby Jimenez. Abby Jimenez can do no wrong. Like, truth be told, if you've never read a book by her, run get an Abby Jimenez book. She is like the epitome of like a cute, fluffy romance that meets real life topics, heavy hitting topics that a lot of us can relate to. This book is essentially about our main character, Emma, and she finds that in her dating life, she is always like the one before the one. She is like the last stop on the subway to your destination. What am I actually saying? She is like the last person that people usually date before they meet their soulmate. And so she kind of feels like, why does this happen to me? I hate that this happens. Goes on Reddit, I believe, and there's someone else who feels this way, named Justin, who is our male character of this book. They come up with this idea and they're like, hey, what if we date each other? And then the next person is gonna be our soulmate. Like, we can reverse this curse here. I know this sounds literally so crazy. Like, when I first heard this premise, I was like, yeah, that sounds like a Disney Channel TV show. Like, that sounds boring, sorry. And then I read it. It genuinely is fun watching these two people, like, connect over this, think they're, like, outsmarting this curse. Just watching them go through that. Like, it's actually funny. I laughed out loud several times. The reason why this book is in my top 5, number 4, to be exact, is because this book had me sobbing. Look at this cover, guys. You look at this cover and say, oh yeah, that's gonna make me cry. No, and it will. I was sobbing my eyes out, couldn't breathe, and this is the cover. The reason why I was sobbing my eyes out is because I relate so much to our main characters, both of them the same, and they are dealing with other things going on in their family. They have to be strong for others, and they are constantly being leaned on and being taken advantage of, and they are dealing with hard things where they have to be the rock. Finding each other, they have someone to lean on, and it was just, oh my gosh. I relate so much to these characters and seeing their strength and their resilience while also being allowed to like be upset or take a break or be sick. Like, I love them so much. Also, Justin I'm obsessed with him. He is an active service king, baby. Like, homegirl was sick, like passing away, withering, and he was like, I'm gonna bring her food and take care of her. Like, just put a ring on it, honestly. Like, that is so freaking attractive. If you are looking for a romance that will have you swooning and sobbing all within 300 pages, this is your book. Take a picture. This is your book. We're getting to the top of the list. Coming in at number 3. They're a duology, so I'm gonna count them as one book, even though they're literally 2 books. But Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. These books are so good. So good. Again, same thing that I've said before. I don't love overhyped books because it makes me really scared. This book is appropriately hyped. It deserves its hype. They were so magical, so breathtaking. Like, oh my gosh, so good. We have our main character, Iris. She is a poor, unfortunate soul, unfortunately. She is really, really struggling. Her brother has gone off to war and she is struggling. She lives with her mother and they are pinching pennies. They are not doing too hot. I'm pretty sure she dropped out of school. She's working at this Gazette. She's a writer and she's working with her enemy, Roman, and they are both up for the same promotion. Roman comes from a rich family. He's very well known, respected, and she is obviously coming from a poor family, and they are both up for the same promotion. They are academic rivals. Clearly, y'all know I really love academic rivals since this is like the 3rd time I've mentioned this in this one video. Things take place. Somehow the 2 of them end up on the war front writing about the war. I'm not gonna explain how we got from point A to point Z. If the angle is different, somebody literally just called me and I had to like move my phone. So sorry, y'all. So sorry. Anyways, back to Divine Rivals. Gods are at war. So there's a lot of tension going on over here. There's also a lot of tension in their personal lives and all that. It's a lot of moving pieces. So good. So magical, so lyrical. One reason why I recommend this book to other people is because it takes place in like a regular world. There are just gods at war and there's some other like magical elements to it. If you are new to fantasy and you are scared to try out fantasy and you're like, I don't know if I would understand it, I don't really want to take that risk, read Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. Very easy to understand and comprehend because it takes place in a world just like this, where there are normal people doing regular jobs. There are just gods at war and other little fantasy elements. The romance in this book. Roman is my top book boyfriend of all time. Like, smash every day. That was really crazy. Anyways, I love Roman so much. One of the reasons why I love him, again, I love a smart man, as we have seen from this video, an intelligent man who can pick up on cues. Roman is so intelligent. He's a writer, and the way that he writes and the things that he says to Iris, Shakespeare's calling. He puts his life on the line for Miss Girl. It's giving I'll take a bullet for you. If Roman is not in your top book boyfriends, it's only because you haven't read the book. Coming in at number 2, we have The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I don't even really know what to say besides like, wow. This book is absolutely breathtaking. It's so insightful and it's amazing. It's about these 2 sisters and they live in France. You just see a slow build of the Nazis during the time of World War II and how they take over France. These 2 sisters are very different. One sister is very like, let's follow the rules, let's stay at home. She takes in a Nazi soldier and lets him stay there. She's very, very on guard all the time and she wants to just listen to what they say and make sure that they're okay. Meanwhile, the other sister is actively fighting against the Nazis and going on secret missions and really, really like fighting in this war. So you have 2 completely different sisters in the same world of World War II and the Nazis coming to power. This book had me sobbing so much. Like, I genuinely was like, can I breathe? Can I actually like take a single breath? It was just so interesting to see how 2 different people react completely different to the same circumstance. I was very intimidated by this book for a while simply because of the length of the book and also what people were saying about it. The book is 560 pages. Like, hello, baby, that's a honker. That's a commitment. It honestly felt like a 300-page book, the way that I was reading it. It was so easy to read. If you're new to historical fiction, I also think that this is a great book for you to dive into that world because, like I said, it's very easy to follow, very easy to understand. It's not like they're talking about all these complicated things and it feels like a textbook. This is more of a study on like what was happening in the world, how it got taken over, and what these sisters do about it. So lovely, so wonderful, so heartbreaking. If I think about it too hard, like I will actually tear up and cry, and I don't want to cry because I already did my makeup. It is becoming a movie, I've heard, through the grapevine, aka TikTok. Personally, reading the book, I think there's so many things that go on in which I don't know how it's going to be portrayed in a 2-hour movie window. I personally would have loved to see like a limited series, but again, I think the Fanning sisters are playing the two sisters, so I hope it'll be good, because if they mess this book up, I will be devastated. I will be heartbroken. Anyways, read the book, it's so good. Coming in at number 1, we have Funny Story by Emily Henry. I could go on for 24 hours about this. Like, this one book could have been a whole video in itself, to be honest. Like, hello, I have things to say. I love Emily Henry, love her so much. Beach Read is one of my favorite books ever. This is my favorite Emily Henry book over Beach Read, tops it any day. Simply because Miles and Daphne both, I relate to so much. I actually was almost scared for a second reading this book because I was like, is my FBI agent Emily Henry? Why is Daphne literally me? And Miles is like situation that he goes through, I'm like, why am I him? Why are these two people me? People who have not read this book and are like, can you just tell us what it's about? This book is about Daphne and Miles. Those are our two main characters. Daphne is, I believe she was engaged to somebody else, and then Miles was dating somebody else too. The two people that they were dating decide to get together and like run off into the sunset together. And Daphne and Miles are left all alone because their partners left them. That's so shady. That's so crazy. And Daphne moves in with Miles because she was living with her fiance and she was just kind of like kicked to the curb over here. So she moves in with Miles and they kind of start fake dating to make the other two kind of jealous. But to watch them just be completely heartbroken and destroyed and pick up their pieces and form a friendship and then form a relationship, like, it was just so wonderful. It was not like, let's move in and like, let's just like bang one out here. Like, it was not that. It was not that at all. It was so beautiful. This book also really made me smile because my husband, he reminds me so much of Miles, just like in his humor. He's very like dry and sarcastic, kind of how Miles is. So reading this book made me smile because I was like, this is me and Alex. Like, this is so cute. Our partners did not leave us and go get married. Like, that did not happen. But their banter is very similar to the way that my husband and I talk, and so that was cute in itself. I just love this book so much. There are so many times I laughed out loud during this, and there are so many times I cried, so many times I giggled and kicked my feet. This book is encompassing of all emotions, and that is one thing I love so much about Emily Henry and I can appreciate about her. She's not a one-trick pony. She encompasses so many different feelings into her books. It's essentially like a whole heart in a book, and it's so wonderful to read. This book is also like so full circle. Like, the final moment of this book reflects who is mowing their lawn. Like, that's actually so rude. Don't they know I'm filming my first YouTube video ever? So full circle, and it makes me so happy. So happy. I cannot wait to read her book that comes out in April. Baby, I'll be sad. I'm taking off work to read it. And that is all that I have for my top 10 books of 2024. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I had so much fun filming this video, and I hope that you had fun watching it. Like this video, comment down below, and please subscribe to this channel because I am planning to post a lot more on this channel now that TikTok is like in the can. If you have any video recommendations or videos that you want to see from me, please comment them down below. I'm new to this YouTube thing, so I don't necessarily know what videos are out now, if there's any tags or anything going on. So please let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and love you guys. Bye.